All right, hello everybody. This is Senor Jimenez or Senor Mississippi back here to talk about another review game that I love to play, and the kids really love it, or they really hate it. And it is called Blammo. Okay, so now this game does require a good bit of prep on the teacher end, but in a nutshell, the game is going to consist of a little Ziploc baggie of strips. Now, these strips are Spanish sentences or phrases that we've been reviewing in class. Typically, because you want to be able to use the same strips for every single class, typically it's when I want to review words or verbs that I've been using throughout all of my classes, not just specific class invisible stories. So, leading up to our semester exam, we did a bunch of strips on past tense verbs, past tense story writing verbs specifically. So we have a little baggie of strips, and as you can see, each one of these strips, oh, there we go. No tenía una novia, and it's backwards, but oh well. We have a bunch of strips here in this baggie, all right? So each group, usually have them in groups of 3, preferably no more than 3, but if you have to, you can go to a group of 4. Each group gets a baggie of strips with the vocab in it, another sheet of paper which has all of the answers in English on it, a cup or some kind of canister, and then a dice. I have really fun 20-sided dice. But you know, any dice will do. So when each group comes in, each kid is gonna have a sheet of paper, and they're gonna label 1 through 30, or however many problem strips you want to come up with. I go with 30. Then they're gonna take their strips, and they're gonna dump them into the cup, shake it up really well. All right, they're gonna take turns. Each kid is gonna take turns drawing a strip. So let's say Juan, he draws a strip. And he's going to take the strip, and he's going to say it out loud to his group. Tenía miedo de las arañas. Okay? And so he's also going to lay it down flat on the table so that each one of his groups can see it. Now, this is problem number 29. So each person within the group will then go to number 29 on their paper, and they will translate in English. Then, when everybody's ready to review their answer, they will all review their answer from the English sheet. So the group kids are making sure that they're holding each other accountable by not cheating. They'll review the answer. For the kid that drew the strip, if he or she gets it right, they get 3 points. For the other students, if they got it right, they get 1 point. Now, let's say the kid that drew the strip gets it wrong, and only one of the other people from his group got it right. Then obviously the only person that got it right, they will get 3 points. If the other people that did not draw the strip got it right, and the person that drew it got it wrong, then the other 2 people will simply roll the dice to see who gets a higher score, who gets 3 points versus 1 point. Then, because that strip is done with, they will take the strip, fold it back tightly, and put it in the bag. Then it will be the next person's turn to draw a strip, and you go on so on and so forth, okay? The fun part comes in which, in addition to the problem strips, there are also some strips, if I can find one in here, that say Blammo! If a kid draws a Blammo strip, they lose all their points. This is where the kids proclaim how much they hate the game, is when they lose all of their points. The Blammo strips are there in order to, maintain, and this is always an important thing throughout any review game, is you want to always be looking for a way to level the playing field and maintain investment into the game. So with students, even if a student gets way behind, they know that the other people from their group could potentially draw a Blammo strip and thus reset their score, and then they may be in the lead. So it keeps the game really, really interesting, and it keeps kids invested and involved in the game throughout the process. Typically, I have about 30 problem strips, and about 7 Blammo strips. You want to ensure that the students are, not looking at the strips when they're drawing, but typically speaking, the other students in their group help them keep themselves accountable through this way. This is a really fun game. Once my kids get rolling with this game, it's very hands-off for me, which is great. This is a game that once they get started, I'm free to just kind of walk around or maybe get some work done on my own. And if kids are complaining about, oh, well, he wrote was instead of is, I tell them that, hey, y'all's group, y'all are the judges for each other. I'm not going to be a judge for anybody in this group. So that is how Blammo works. Hopefully, so what I'll do is, as an example, I will attach in the comment section below my printout for this particular set of Blammo strips, which was with the past tense. So this is, typically more of a Spanish 2 level. But feel free to edit the document as much as you need in order to play Blammo with your kids. Typically, you're gonna spend a lot of time cutting out these strips. So that, like I said, this is a game that requires some prep work ahead of time. But once you've prepped all the strips, then you just keep them in these nice little Ziploc bags forever and ever, and then you can always come back to them the next year. All right, good luck.
Como la medicina porque estaba enfermo. What number is that?
You wrong. Good. Supposed to be one person to get it right.
No, like you said, you stop at trabajar.
What number is it? 2.
Blammo. Blammo.
What number is it? Blammo.
You got to play.
Oh,
Which level?
I'm finna get Blammo. Oh. I pulled too well. I gotta redo that.
Yeah, you saw that.
Blammo! Oh my God. Show the camera, Julio. Show the camera. Show the camera.
That's the second time he's done that.
I know.
Blammo!
He did it to me.
Like he called it and everything.